5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
You're listening to GUFON Radio with Rich Giordano.
My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
There has been and is an existing presence, an ET presence. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to change reality.
I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight, that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
GUFON Radio.
Or you were either out, brother.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
GUFON Radio with Rich Giordano.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
GUFON Radio.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
You're listening to GUFON Radio with Rich Giordano.
All right. Welcome to GUFON, everybody. Saturday night. Yep, we just noticed that. Thank you for the reminder. There we go. Didn't get a ton of sleep, so I got bags you could carry a week's of groceries in under these eyeballs. That's right, I'm a little vain. So stupid. So tonight's show's gonna be a little bit different. I decided to bore you for half of it. I'm joking. Maybe it'll excite you. I doubt that too. But second half of the show, I'm gonna read you a nice little bedtime story. That's right. It's not a joke. It's true. And I'm doing it because I have no reason not to. It's called A Spacewoman Speaks by Ralph Taleno. The message was received in 1954 by this woman who says, and I love it, We normally live on a vibrational level or wavelength which is much higher than your own. Discuss. We will. We will. So we'll be doing that. Hey, who's Breaking Bad of ufology, huh? You? Some might say it's even me. It isn't me. I know who the Breaking Bad of ufology is, not the paranormal, ufology. Do you know who that is? Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that. Dave? No. Oh, Dave's here. Hey, Dave. What's up, Spaced Out Radio? With David Esquire Scott. I got nothing on there. Ready? Wilcock's a good answer. Hold that thought. Roll call. Hey, Bee's Nest Films, said David Wilcock. Maybe. Dave, what's up? How you doing over there? Scotty Eisner, not Billy. Welcome to the show. Hey, Stu Gerson. A mighty fine statue of a man. A brute of force, even when he's sleeping. Stu Gerson, how you doing? B. Baker's in the house. Why? Because two B's are better than one. B. Baker, moderator. Joe Monk, how you doing, JM? JM in the house. Very funny, very good to see you. Dark Hour, paranormal. Dark Hour, space paranormal. If you're going to look it up on YouTube, or else you won't find it. Welcome to the show. He had a great show earlier tonight, just before this show as a fatter act. Huh? Yeah, hold on. Hold on there. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. I don't care what anybody's feel. Good. I have fun everywhere I go. No, was it? Why did I? Wait a second. I'm confused. Yeah. Right? Didn't Dark Hour just do a show? Oh, right. It's not posted yet. I was trying to find. Oh, I have history. I can just go in the history and look it up. He had two good guys on there. I enjoy people that are like those guys. It was Damian Gray and Ralph Torlucci. They're paranormal activity, ET contact, shadow people. They talked about it all. Anyway, if you haven't heard it, check it out. Dark Hour Paranormal. It's weird that on YouTube, you can do some things, right? Like you can change the way your channel looks. I'll show you after roll call. I want to explain it real quick. Nah, don't even have to. It's a waste of time. Coral Ann, did I say hi? Welcome to the show if I didn't. Dev's area 404, page not found, 404. Off-world Adam, he's got that same thing. Why am I yelling? He's got off-world space Adam. I get excited. I just want to dive right into the show. I don't know why the roll call to me just never feels like I should be doing it. I feel like I want to rush through it, and then I talk through it, and it lasts longer. X-Files Espionage TV. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Again. First Floor Audio. I may not get to everybody because we got a show to do, and I've got an hour of reading. You know, I'm doing it because Niksha asked. And it's something we've never done here before. On GUFON. I've done it on the Paranormal Code. But not here. Gustav Van Vuren. How you doing? Welcome to the show. I have no fear when it comes to UFOs. Stuart Bodwell. Well, I didn't mean to yell in your ear there. Welcome to the show. All right, let's get going. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Renee Cruisin'. Good. All right. Oh, Anti-Media Zombie, welcome. Jeff Garvey. I saw you earlier. Donnie C., welcome. What's up, guys? Cuppy? Stuart? What's up? All right. Now we're gonna get going. Phil Schneider in the house. Phil Schneider, alive and well. I knew it was an inside job. Welcome, welcome. Anti-media zombie. Some people I haven't seen before here. Mr. DB Cooper 77 in the house. Everybody. Cornelius. GUFON is a good show. It's good for nothing. You know what I mean? Right? Right? Nobody admits they watch this show. Nobody admits it. Why would you? Well, he doesn't bring any information forward. He doesn't do any of that. I don't. I think I'm talking about the same stuff everybody else is talking about. He doesn't have guests on. If he had guests, you know, but he thinks he's funny, stupid jokes. It's like a child. It's very bad for ufology. I don't know how anybody watches that garbage. Yeah, I agree. But if you were in my head, it's brilliant. That's the thing. I can't help who I am. Hey, you don't like it? Boop, turn the channel. That's all I can say, right? With that being said, some of you are really, really into this election. Like, if you don't talk about it, watch it, speak about it. I said that already. You get mad. It's like an addiction now. This is what they're doing. It's an addiction. Trump's going to lose. I think he lost Arizona officially. But I don't know. This is getting out of control. But anyway, I like this lady's style. I don't know if any of you have seen this on, I think it's Lou Dobbs? Yeah. Release the Kraken, she says. I just think it's fun. Hey, I'm going to be reading in a little bit. How do you think I feel? I got to read. I'm going to try to do the whole 30 pages. I don't know. I think it's a mistake. We'll see. Reading can't be good. It's fundamental. Those of you who are my age or near it, 60, what am I, 72? You understand that commercial.
Team, General Flynn's defense attorney, a great American and prominent appellate lawyer. Great to have you with us, Sydney. Let's start
Sidney
with
Powell,
Dominion.
by the way.
A straight out disavow.
It's blurry because they're blurry. All right? It ain't me. Want me to prove it? See? Look how clear that is. It's they, not me. And if the show does get a little blurry, I'm sorry, nothing I can do.
Of any claim.
But it will clear up.
Of fraud against the company, its software or machines. Your reaction?
Well, I can hardly wait to put forth all the evidence we have collected on Dominion, starting with the fact it was created to produce altered voting results in Venezuela for Hugo Chavez, and then shipped internationally to manipulate votes for purchase in other countries, including this one. It was funded by money from Venezuela and Cuba, and China has a role in it also. So if you
unbelievable
want to talk about foreign election interference, we certainly have it now.
All right, and then later on, we'll be here all day. She says, I'm going to play it for a minute and a half or so, but I like this lady's style. But we got to see the evidence. Stop talking about it. Just put it out. I want to see it in the courts already. I know they have to gather it up. They really have to make a good case, because if you're the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the free country, you definitely want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row.
And it's been organized and conducted with the help of Silicon Valley people, the big tech companies, the social media companies, and even the media companies. And I'm going to release the Kraken.
Well, I'll be damned. Well, I don't know what side you're on. Quite frankly, I'm done. I don't know. You hear so many different stories, so many. Both sides are all off. They're all done. It's over. We have now seen the fruits of their labor, the media. Fox is done. It's all coming over to the internet now. The internet is where it's at. The shows that you want to listen to, you figure that out, but they're on the internet. And they're coming up with great guests. They have Giuliani on. I mean, Louder with Crowder can be annoying, but 70% of it is pretty good. The other 30, you just gotta... Like this show. It's the same thing. Anyway, I got some funny that came... It's exactly like this. You know, you can't like everything I say, and I don't even like what I say half the time, so that just tells you right there. Next is Tim Dillon as Meghan McCain. I'd like to thank B. Baker for sending this. If anybody doesn't know, Meghan McCain is the daughter of Senator McCain, John McCain. When Trump said, I don't like people who, get caught in prison. Remember when he said that? So she said she likes people who don't lose Arizona. He said, I like people who don't get caught. Remember? Because he was a POW. McCain was. Pretty wild stuff.
You marched and organized for equality and justice.
Oh, God. I'm throwing up in my mouth already. I can handle Biden. I can handle Biden. This one I can't. I just can't, and I won't. Well, that was a pretty funny meme, right? So Meghan McCain was now being made fun of by Tim Dillon as Meghan McCain. So let's see what this is. I only watched 3 seconds. There better not be any nudity.
Had a baby with him, and it will be raised in captivity. It'll be raised privately to be the greatest politician that has ever lived. My name is Meghan McCain, and I'm on a news show called The View. And Donald Trump, that fucking riverboat casino captain, is talking shit about my father again. My father was tortured for 100 years for this fucking country, and he came back and he started 7 wars because he's a gentleman. Fuck you, Trump. I'm gonna wear my father's skin mask, and I'm gonna primary Trump from the right. Come on The View, bitch. If you're that tough, come on The View. You want it, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? You want this shit? You want to fuck these tits, Trump? You want to fuck these tits?
Oh, my God.
No, you don't. You want to...
Wow. On this show. I should watch these I have no choice. I got to go back to watching videos before I play. I would have stopped it before there, mind you. It's not that kind of show. Damn it. It's funny, though. It was pretty good. All right. One more. What time is it? We can do one more. I have one more political video. Oh, and then it gets good. And then I think you'll like the rest of the show. I didn't watch this either, and I'm afraid. It's political. You know why I show this? Because I haven't been watching the news. I purposely have been sleeping through it. So this is how I watch it. Well, I'm sorry about that. Let's just see what this is. It says here, the left attacks, then calls for civility. So, then, So.
Now calling for it. When I say Joe Biden is right now garbling for civility.
We may be opponents, but we're not enemies. We're Americans. No matter who you voted for, I'm certain of one thing. The vast majority of almost 150 Americans, 150 million Americans who voted.
150. He didn't know if it was billion or million. That's what he was thinking of. It was billion or million, yeah.
They want to get the vitriol out of our politics. We're certainly not going to agree on a lot of issues, but at least we can agree to be civil with one another.
Yeah,
he's reading, man. Can't you just feel Can't you just say it from the heart? That's what I want. That's why people like Trump. Half the country likes Trump, half hate. It's unbelievable. It's right down the middle. Imagine if every single person was forced to vote. Let's say minus the 13 and under, 12 and under. They can't vote. 13 and over. Well, we'll take the kids. I want to get as many Americans in on this action that were born here, that understand, if it was explained to them, what politics is what's going on in politics. And I think at 13 you'd be able to understand that. What is that, 8th grade? It's 8th grade, I think, freshman year. All right, let's move it to 14, freshman year in high school. And you got to prove you're a freshman. We'd bump it up to 18, but then we're back where we were. I want to know what everybody thinks, even if they don't work and contribute. What do they think about when they look at Trump? Do people love him or hate him? All ages. 90? Even, we'll throw in the dead people again. We'll throw in the dead. We'll throw in dead people. Why not? You go one extreme, you can go the other. Why not? They did it. If my father was alive, he would have said this. That's how you. And they can't be dead for, we'll even it out, 14 years. You can use the memory of your dead relative to vote. Why not? I mean, they did it.
We're certainly not going to agree on a lot of issues like abortion up until and including after birth.
Yeah. The abolition of the Second Amendment. Probably not.
So he's saying we should stop the vitriol. Well, okay, let's go back to Biden then, where he called Donald Trump ugly folk and also threatened violence against the president.
This isn't a political statement like those ugly folks over there beeping the horn. They asked me would I like to debate this gentleman. And I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
He threatened to beat up the president.
Oh, my God.
I like his gumption. He's got gumption. It's going to be a fun 4 years. Trump can run again, right? After 4 years, but I don't think he will. He'll be 78. Well, that's what Biden is. All right. I am very, very sorry that I have to do this to you now. So, before we get into who is the Breaking Bad of ufology, it's nice to see that there's other people out there that just don't believe Corey Goode or David Wilcock and, you know, the other people that are, they're out there. So I came across this video that says how Corey Goode manipulates your consciousness. I really would like to know what you think, and I'm not going to say a word. Tell me if this is good. I won't share whose channel it is yet. And I don't think anybody knows who this is. As you wouldn't know who GUFON was if you didn't accidentally stumble upon it. Because we sure aren't being shared by YouTube. We're definitely not showing up on the recommendations. We are? Yeah, well, I'm doing something wrong then. I'm doing something wrong. All right. Oh, I think I need to go brush my teeth. All right. I'm not going to say who it is. Why don't you take a listen?
And something was wrong this entire time. If you're a follower of my channel, you already know that I had been a believer in this new age conspiracy theory, ufology belief system that was pretty much a cult in everything except for in name. And eventually it became a cult in name as well. I started to do my own research. I started to look into the background of these public figures, and I realized that these people had a completely other side to them that contradicted the message that they had been teaching. In the beginning, it was
What
just
did I
the
do?
narrative that people had a problem.
So? That's funny. 404. I know. I know. If you don't go looking for anything on UFOs, you won't find it. The first 100 things are old CNN, Fox, all those type of stories that they did interviews with the regular people. So true. Right, Zach. You're on the right track. Philip? True, he agrees. Hey, Niksha. What's up? Yep, we are going to be reading later. Not too long from now. All right. So I'll play a little bit more. And then we'll get the visual. And then I'll fix I tried giving more light to the screen back here. And you can see the light right there behind the green curtain. Yes, sister's got motherless. Every show I knock this son of a bitch over. All right, here we go.
With these fantastical stories about an extra.
Anybody who says fantastical, you have to deduct 10 IQ points. It's true.
Terrestrial race that were basically just like Jesus, and we're going to come down to the earth and help humans ascend to this golden age of humanity. It was the same fucking story that's been told since the beginning of time. But up until that point...
Do you know she actually uses the C word? Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Collaborate. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm surprised she pronounced it right. You know the one. I think it's coming up.
That was it. That was the only thing people really had a problem.
That was the only... It sounds like AOC.
Problem with was the story being basically a ripoff of other savior stories. There was a lot of people that had done reports on them, such as Randy Moggins and Cliff High, and other people had taken...
Let's jump a little bit.
I did my own research. I looked into the claims of all these people. I started doing some fact checking on my own, looking into the background, public records, things like that, privately to myself. And I realized that these investigators, these YouTube commentary channels, they weren't lying. They were...
Commentary channels. Whoa, you didn't get to see it yet.
Pretty much telling the fucking truth this whole time, and I had no idea that this was going on. Finally.
So, what do you think? You think she's gonna nail it? Do you think she's gonna get it right about Corey Good? I thought she was so brilliant though and eloquent that we'll have to continue from here.
There are good aliens who are working with the good guys and the good people.
That's what she says Corey Good is saying. So she's just repeating, like, he thinks that there's good aliens and bad aliens, and then I'll continue.
Of the government on Earth.
The good guys are winning, basically. Groups from the Federation have pushed back the negative groups to just a very few star systems right now.
And then there are the spooky, kooky, ooky aliens that are working with the bad guys in the government on Earth. Your elite, your cabal, your Illuminati.
This is the evil ones now.
There is this super global elite that is controlling the world. They're puppeteering us like fucking Geppetto. They're suppressing technology. They are making us pay for fucking high gas prices.
I found out that they were trafficking human beings and trafficking human beings to other planets, and they were trading humans for biological materials from other solar systems as well as technology.
And then there are the good aliens that are working with the good guys on Earth that are trying to help us ascend into a golden age.
These are
so far so good, right? There's a lesson.
Higher density beings that are working together to help raise our vibration so we can ascend.
There's these spiritual beings that are trying to help us on Earth.
Okay, she's getting it right.
They're going to come down and save the Earth. Sound familiar? What he does is he
Here we
makes
go.
this, you're either with us or you're a fucking pedophile. You're either with us or you're a pedophile sympathizer.
Whoa.
There is no in between. There is no middle ground. It's black or white, plain and simple, cut and dry, plain as day.
Damn.
You're either with us or you're fucking against us, and you like to diddle little kids, and
Whoa.
you should fucking die.
My experience is that there's always casualties in war, and you don't necessarily have to authorize yourself getting killed in battle.
Right.
And this is about...
So is she saying that trust anyone with the Jerry curl? Yeah. Yep. Did she just say that? I'm not sure what I'm listening to, but here's the thing. Let's continue. She's doing great.
Battle.
It's very divisive. But what's really funny is that they don't want to actually win. They don't want this to be resolved. You can clearly see with what's going on right now with Corey Goode that this whole message, this ascension, this whole service to others, this whole bringing forth the golden age to humanity has kind of been put on the back burner because he wants to sue everybody. That's all he cares about. He only goes towards the negative. It's just...
Is this true or false? Only you have the answer. You can, not, no. She will not be back. Anyway, the link will be in the description. Her name is Stina Maria. She's got 2,450 subs, but she doesn't do a lot of video work. And
just weird that this person that's saying, like, we got to do this, we got to do that, and pay me, and I'll tell you how to do this and how to do that so we can get to this golden age, is the same motherfucker that can't not respond to a fucking negative comments on YouTube. Like, come the fuck on, guys. Come on. If he actually took the bad...
Yeah, but the thing is, he's already answered all those questions before. You know, there's a history with Corey Goode, so he feels like, oh my God, they're asking me this question again. Anyway, that's where that came from. Link will be in the description after the show. So, Viper TV is amazing. I want to tell everybody to run over there and subscribe because I'm going to play a video here that is really good. Just for a minute or two. And, you know, at the top of the hour, we're going to read a very good UFO, possibly real message to a woman from aliens. But I wanted to take a few peeks at this video because I haven't seen such clear... just watch it. I'm so stupid. Clear. Just play the video. Come on. See what I mean? Beautiful, right? Kisses to God. Kisses to God for that. Beautiful clarity. That's Atlantis. Yeah, that's Atlantis from above now. Of course I'm joking. It's the Roswell Rocks. It's in Hertfordshire, England, on a grassy knoll near Dallas.
The megalithic structures found at many sites around the world have generated endless controversy as to how they were built. Archaeology, conventional books, and museums lay out a neat and understandable chronicle of prehistory and history through the ages. This time frame of human life starts out, they say, quite primitive, and slowly and gradually becomes more advanced until we arrive at the modern age. It's neat, orderly, but fails to take into account the whole truth. From megalith wonders with no conventional explanations to outright evidence of advanced technology, these mysterious archaeological finds confound the experts and will continue until we, the public, figure it out.
Hey, thanks for the super chat, Mr. DB Cooper 77, $10. He's a good on Atlantis, from all over, every corner of the flat earth.
In multiple parts of the world, centuries before the modern age says these things are possible, you'll find amazing construction techniques, engineering feats that cannot be reproduced even by today's standards. These archaeological mysteries will seriously call into question what you've been told about history. Buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy, because Kansas is going bye-bye. Peru is one of those places that smashes all the records when looking at lost advanced technology, ancient machining, softening of hard stones, or gigantic megaliths. It has it all. Some of the most perplexing ancient mysteries are all confined to the Cusco Sacred Valley. Think big, think weird, think extremely difficult technology. The main thing researchers have a problem with is the precision saw cuts. With all the questions swirling around these stone cutting abilities.
We've seen this hundreds of times, right? Hey, it looks like I'm floating in space. Wow, what an illusion. See, this is what bothers me. Like, how can they get stuff this sharp? Right here. The cornered edges. But I was told that they could have. But how come there's saw marks? And it's like they stopped, right? Gobekli Tepe, they've got those saw marks in all over. You can see them everywhere at all these sites. There may be a new discovery in Hawaii if you haven't heard. Cousins brothers may have actually discovered a very old site. They're still popping up. We have no idea. I believe we just scratched the surface. Can you imagine what's in the jungles, what's under the sand, what's in the oceans? We know nothing. We know very little. That's a shame. I really want to know what's going on in the past. I'm going to pose a question. Maybe we'll come back to that. Maybe we won't. You've seen all this stuff, right? But here's a question. Third Phase and I, we're talking. I don't know why I have to say that, but that's where this thought came from. If I was sitting here by myself, it would be weird if I came up with this conversation. I'm going to throw a number out there and say $1 million. It's just for open discussion. And I really want to know your answer. So if you were given $1 million to go back in time, and it's right at the time the Titanic is about to leave port, maybe within 30 minutes, 15 minutes, but people are boarding the Titanic. Would you, for $1 million, go back in time to try to save the Titanic from sinking or survive it? And then if you survive it, you get the $1 million and you get to come back home. But if you die, you're done. If you don't save the Titanic and you don't make it home, done. You don't get the $1 million. You have to either save the Titanic, survive. Yeah, there's a little quandary there. Because if you survive it but don't save the Titanic, you still get the $1 million? I think either save it or not. If you don't save the Titanic, would you risk going back? Some people think there's a conspiracy. Even though there was ice on deck and people saw and felt the vibration, but it's under some soot. Nobody has ever seen the hole that has broken the Titanic apart. And if I'm wrong on that, I'm sorry, but I think I'm right. And there's theories that there could have been a bomb that may have gone off, and maybe they threw ice. I don't know. Food for thought. But would you go back and take that risk? I know there's too many variables. I know. That's why it's a hard decision. 404. I said the same exact thing. Think about the people you'll be saying. Oh, and you can't go in. You go down where Jack was. In the immigrant section below. So you have to figure out how to get all the way up. Maybe reach the captain. I mean, what if you tell them, hey, I know at 3:15 in the morning we're going to hit this, I almost said pyramid. Could be. This glacier. They're going to think you're nuts. They could throw you in the cool house. What do they call it? Outhouse? I don't think they have an outhouse on boats. No. Release the Kraken. You got that right, Bee's Nest. But you have to start. It's like a game. But here's what I said. You would just save Rose, Pastor Will. You're very, very... You know what? Rose was very selfish. You know, there was so much of that thing he could have laid on there with her. Right? And it was sticking out of the water. So you know there was buoyancy to this headboard she was holding on to for dear life. You don't even want to give him a try? Oh, God. Every time I think about how cold that water must feel. But very selfish of her. I wouldn't save her. Yeah. Every man, woman, and child for themselves. And why is it man has to go last? Well, I don't get it. Because women and children are weaker, they can't really fend for themselves as easily as men could. So their lives are more of, hey, survival of the fittest. No. I would try to survive it. If I was sent back in the past, I would do it because the price of admission alone, just to go back in time, is worth my life. So I would like to go back in time and try to save the Titanic. And how would you do it? How would you do it? Would you put notes right on a notepad? You'd have to find a notepad. Remember, you're just going in there as an immigrant. You have to sneak on the boat. You just can't walk on. You got to somehow sneak in. There's a lot of variables, 404. Right, 404. That has been mentioned, sort of. Maybe someone was sent to the past to make sure the Titanic was sunk because the parents of the to-be Antichrist was on board. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Eric, it is a huge risk. And you only have 15 to 30 minutes to even view what the past looks like. So you'd be on the Titanic. Nobody knows your name. You'd go down in history as a question mark. Nobody would even know about you. But if you survive it and you save the Titanic, you could still be captured and thrown in the loon bin. How did you know this? I mean, there's so many variables, 404. Think about that. You saved the Titanic. Oh, that's right. Then the time machine will suck you back into your time. That's right. So as soon as you save it or you're definitely surviving it, you get to go back. And they'll know because the Titanic would not have sunk in their history books. Would they have changed? I don't know, but they find it out. They verify it. Anyway, I thought it would be a fun game to throw at you. Too many variables, but I think the price of admission to go back in time, that's worth the $1 million. I think it's worth my life. What did Pastor Will say? I would have identified as a woman and jumped in the rescue boat. Can you imagine that? Oh my God, that is so freaking funny. I wonder how that would actually play out in real life now. Some big burly woman, you know it's a man, boat's going down. Women and children first. Excuse me, I'm sitting in that seat. What? I identify as a woman. I don't think so. I see a little something in the center regions there. Anyway, I thought that would be a fun game. What's that? All right, back to the rocks, I was told. See, a little food for thought. That's what we talk about. When I talk to Third Phase, we have great conversations about everything. So I like to bring some of those ideas, and not what we talked about, but at least throw the ideas out there to talk about here, because some of them are really worth that. And all right, well, you know what? This is great stuff. I love it, but let me think about what to do next.
Archaeologists that never explain such things, mere attempts to explain away. Another curious...
You know what? It's Saturday night, right? I may do an extra hour. I think I'm going to... As long as there's people here, I'll keep going. That's what we're going to do tonight. I'm not rushing. You got to leave, leave. You want to come back, come back. I just changed my mind. I'm going to keep going. No rush. That's tonight. Hey, if it's 3.5 hours, so be it. I'm tired of rushing. There is no schedule. Why am I rushing? I know Spaced Out Radio's not on tonight. I know there's other shows you may want to go watch. But I'm telling you, when I start reading, you're going to want to be here.
A stone construct sheds more light on these questions. The walls and buildings are made from andesite, which is a very strong and hard stone that would be virtually impossible to cut with bronze tools. When you take a closer look, there are multiple places where it looks like someone used...
That looks like sandstone.
...a saw, possibly a power saw, to cut the rock apart. One instance shows a lump of rock still attached to the block. A deep and incredibly straight and narrow cut is halfway between the lump and block. It looks like somebody wielding a very precise tool was stopped halfway through his job to go attend to something else.
You know, another conversation we had, we have him here, was that the Earth is supposedly 4 billion years old, right? What if 1 billion years ago there were civilizations that were around that were like what we have today? And maybe they built everything and came up with this technology, but they used the Earth a different way than we did. We turned things into steel and iron. They made everything out of the Earth and kept it natural. Which, by the way, is the way to do that. That's how you save the Earth. That, to me, is a technology that should still be around. Where is it? Did it get crumpled under the Earth? You know, plate tectonics, the grinding and the ice age and the ice retracting and going forward and coming back, that's like grinding the Earth, like with the... destroying everything. It's like using a lathe. Is that what it is? A lathe? I don't know. But I think this technology got lost, and for some reason, We can't do it today. So does that mean they were smarter than we were? Yes! They figured out how to build shit with their environment. And they took it from a couple 100 miles away. They didn't do it in their own backyard because they didn't have the granite or whatever it is they needed. But how cool would it have been to live in that society where everything's built from the earth, not, you know what I mean, not machine made, but looks machine made. Oh my God, I would have loved it. And built to last. You know what I mean? Who are these people? I want to know what happened to the people 1 billion years ago. I believe it. I believe that somehow there was people here, and we've been here for a while. There may have been a cataclysmic event that was who knows what. Maybe the moon crashed into the earth. Maybe it hit it twice. I don't know. But something big may have come in and screwed everything up. But we can't tell because over 1 billion years of plate tectonics, the changing, the molten lava, and the weather and everything else buried all that stuff. Reshaped the land. It's changing all the time. 10,000 years ago, it was nothing like it looks now. Similar, but very different. God, can you imagine Antarctica, of all places, was a tropical environment, they say. I don't know. Never been there. I never did any research. I'm not a geologist. I just hear things. I'm fascinated by what happened before 500 million years ago. Because, right, wasn't 500 million years ago all the continents were together? Well, they weren't always together. You know what I mean? I think they were together, broke up, and then they met again on the other side. Something like that. However the plates work. However, it's like the earth is like a baseball with all these seams and it's twisting. It's like a Rubik's Cube, but it's round. It's very strange. It's very odd. It's just the surface. The center is just a swirling ball of molten lava, creating this magnetic force field around the planet that deflects all the radiation from the sun. I got to tell you, whoever created this environment, this earth, I'm telling you, it ain't luck. This is just freaky that we're here. You don't realize it. And in the old days, the earth was out of control. It was wobbling until the moon came in and, stabilized it. No more wobble. Well, no more fast wobble. But a wobble that takes 25,600 years or something like that. Is it that long? It's that long. Yeah, it used to wobble around like every couple of days. Now it's slowed down. This way we could evolve. We could exist on Earth. Who could have made these temples? That's what's wrong with Captain Kirk. He couldn't remember his lines. That's why he talked that way. I cannot remember my lines, but I think I've got it. I'm pretty sure I do. I remembered my lines. That's how he talks. He forgets his lines. That's how you do Captain James T. Kirk. Middle name's Tiberius. I'm going off on a tangent. I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore. Let's look at some of these. Who made these?
Or even a piece of paper between them.
I don't want to read.
Another fine example of 14 sides are situated nearby, and there are quite a few cases of 11 sides.
No, I do.
This type of precise wall building technique is also seen in the mountainside fortresses already mentioned. However, it's not readily seen in other instances of pre-Incan construction.
Unbelievable.
Many of their walls are made from fieldstone or smaller chunks of andesite laid in the usual way of rock walls. This includes placing larger stones and then filling in the gaps of smaller ones. If the pre-Incans had such an amazing stone building power to create form-fitting 11-sided stones, why did they not use this incredibly strong and impenetrable construction technique in all their important buildings? Why are these stones dated to a civilization older than historians know the Inca people to live? And why did this amazing stoneworking skill vanish completely after the Spanish conquest?
It's because they just wanted to try a different technique, and it looks nicer when it's uniform like that, yeah? Maybe it's not as strong, but it sure does look nice. Look at Johnny's house, Johnny Inca. He's got straight and even lines. Why are ours all crooked? Oh, you always want what others have. Just be happy that you have a roof over your head. But Ma, no buts. Get your dinner.
Quest succeeded. At every site, we seem to see 2 layers of construction from different time periods. A great example of 2 different cultures layering 2 completely different styles of construction.
Yeah. A little too technical for this show. Look, I can't play the whole thing, so let's just jump around a little bit. Okay, I like this one. What time is it? Yeah.
Closer look. Were these ancient people supernaturally gifted with the ability to carve stone with soft bronze tools to such exacting dimensions? Or did they have some long-lost technology or machine tools that gave them this power? When it comes to Machu Picchu, with its unique location and mysterious history, it's so intriguing to everyday people, archaeologists, and historians alike.
My God!
The name itself translates into ancient mountain. In fact, the massive stone walls and ruins of Machu Picchu are also a lot more than the accepted 550 years old.
It really is beautiful. How do such archaeologically sound peoples disappear? You'd think they would, you know what, it's 5 guys. That's all, 5 people, I should say. I shouldn't say there were no women involved, but there were none involved back then. But, there could have been, but I never seen anything on it. But it's usually guys. You see the statues, right? Well, anyway, these 5 people made all of this. Just like we've got, just a few people that work on this stuff, and the rest of us put it together for them. Machu Picchu, it's not 500 years old. No, older than that? Isn't this like 20,000 years old? Oh, that's Göbekli. Look at this.
Interested in religious ceremonies. Approximately 200 remains have been found in Machu Picchu, but there's no indication if they lived there full time or were merely pilgrims who came in for a spiritual retreat. While the history of Machu Picchu is intriguing on its own, the mysteries that surround it are even more so. The ruin.
It's unbelievable, right? This video kicks ass. Anyway, it's Viper TV. Isn't that what it is? Yeah.
Of gods and goddesses with wings. As more archaeological mysteries, out-of-place artifacts, and evidence of machine engineering far back in time come to light, we rewrite the history that mainstream education taught us. Each perfectly fitted stone, unbelievable hieroglyphic, and seemingly impossible construction open our minds a bit further to the ancient wonders of the world. How were they created? Where did the ancient people get their tools and knowledge? The idea that all...
Who are these people? They can write on walls. They could sculpture a brick. They were brilliant. Where did they go? All right. The link will be in the description after the show. So, as I've been telling you, there's a wonderful book that was sent to me by Niksha in the chat room. A Spacewoman Speaks by Rolf Toleno. Now, what I'm going to do is something I'd never done before here on GUFON. I am going to read the book. It's only 32 pages. It's easy reading. Each paragraph is about 2 to 3 pages long. I'll see if I can do it. I read a couple of chapters here and there just to make sure I could do it. Thank God I went through a couple of years of college, right? Thanks, Ma, Dad, for the education. And thank you, Niksha, for giving me the opportunity to read this wonderful book. This literal binding book. I see a lot of things in the future I can't describe. If we could read this together, I don't know how to do Kirk fully, because I really don't practice it. But I think I've got it down. You can do it in bursts, and people will think he's brilliant. But to speak like Spock, that's brilliant. What's that? Oh, okay, hold on. I'm going to... the reason I started this a minute or two early, because I want to get the music background for the story, because you're going to need it. You're going to need a background. Let me pull it up. Oh, well, we'll pull it on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on up. See, and then I still have more to talk about tonight. I can't read this yet. I still have more to do. I can't read this yet. I'm looking for the music. I don't know where it went. That is amazing. All right, well, I found one. This should work. We've used this one before. I can't read it yet. I can't. I've got too much more to do. That's right, we're extending the show. I keep forgetting. All right, back to, we're not going to read yet. Sorry. You don't want me to. Trust me. All right. So there's a video out there. It's from Engaging the Phenomenon, James Fox, right? And he has a video out there. It's called Ask UFO Twitter. And it's the Young Guns giving their review on James Fox's phenomenon. Dun, 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 dun. By the way, update on the Greer interview that I'm doing with Doc Skinner for Third Phase on Friday. It is the CE5 event, and it's in Scottsdale. It's actually about 20 minutes from me, which is really right next door. It's it's in downtown Scottsdale at the Performing Arts Center, I believe. It's $275 a ticket. It looks like there's about 40 people ready. The smaller the crowd, the better for us, because me and Doc are going to have exclusive. And when I say exclusive, we can go anywhere we want. Interview Greer, try to get him for 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long. And then they're going to have Greer with Demi Lovato sitting next to him, most likely, trying to do the CE5. They're going to watch a screening of the movie, and then everybody's going to go outside in the cathedral back there, and I'm going to bring my drone, and then I'm going to tell everybody to look and point up. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to, but with exclusive, right? We can go anywhere we want, as long as we're respectable and don't film Demi Lovato. They're not going to know that I can't fly the drone. I mean, I can. I mean, it's legal. There's nothing wrong with me doing it. But they're not expecting it, I'm sure. So when we get the drone out there, and then we got the psionics camera that Doc Skinner has, 4K cameras, boom mics, I mean, the whole thing. And I'm going to have that drone up there and everybody going like this. Ah, it's going to be powerful. It's just for the CE5 and for third phase, but it's for Greer. So I don't think we're allowed so far to interview Demi Lovato, but she will be there. Isn't that funny? Demi Lovato. $275 a ticket. Anyway, these are people who watched Phenomenon. This is the UFO Twitter Young Guns review. Of course they're all going to be good. It was a good movie.
It's going to be a very exciting year. Thanks. Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Engaging the Phenomenon, bringing clarity to the unidentified and what we like to call the phenomenon. And today in this Ask UFO Twitter video, we're going to be discussing The Phenomenon by James Fox. Now, super big thanks to James Fox for participating.
There's no boring parts, there's no fluff or anything like that that leads to a lack of engagement. Further, all of the witnesses, the documents shared, and the UFO events covered in the film are of the highest credibility and corroboration. And there's no way that anyone could say that it's merely a desperate attempt in concocting dot connecting to make it appear that there could be something to UFOs being real. In the final analysis, if you watch this film with care and
I really want to I want to pull my own esophagus out with my feet. Let's hear what the next one says.
not nearly as objective as
do this review of James Fox's The Phenomenon. It was a great show. It was an amazing movie. 70.
It was a great show, he says. All right, I'm going to show you that I have rings that are like Super Bowl size. I don't know. I'm such a
years foundation bedrock knowledge encyclopedia of truth. James Fox's Phenomenon. That's what it is.
I'm going to wear my magician's jacket, my magician's ring that I keep little jewels in. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say. I apologize, Majaworowski.
Encyclopedia of truth. What it is, it's the data, oral history, video, audio. The cinematography was amazing. I loved how we got to some of these crash sites that we had seen and read about in different films. But then you got a drone, and you got a drone to go over the actual crash site, and you can just see it in its glory.
Wow. Great review. Who's this? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, I can't. It's like looking at AOC. Oh my God. Why would anybody give this guy the time of day? Let's hear what she has to say.
In the early 2000s. I'll give you an example. So there's an interview out there where I believe it was filmed in 2002, where he talks about how it took him 2 years of trying to get the sixth man on the moon, Edgar Mitchell, to do an
Trying to get the sixth man on the moon, Edgar Mitchell. All right, B. Baker. He's gay. Yes or no? 100%. No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. But yes or no, my gaydar tells me that. I don't care if he is. I'm just saying. He is, isn't he? Seriously.
interview with him. This is the kind of persistence.
Oh, yeah, 110%. 110%. Okay. I think I'm right. I didn't realize that before. He's actually coming out of his little closet. Yep. More power to you, guy. Just get the fuck out of my ufology, would you? You're clouding it up with your bullshit. Speaking of bullshit, here's some of the best, and we've never done this before. Can you believe it? 2 things in one night I've never done. The best fake UFO videos. It should be right here. Where is it? Oh, that's not what I was looking for. This one. Right there. These are the best fake UFOs ever seen on the internet. You can press play. Go ahead. There you go.
Flashing lights and strange objects
You press
in the
play
sky
when
are
I
a
say
staple
press play.
of
You're just
video
sitting
sharing
there.
sites.
I
They're
didn't
never
know
far
I
from
was
something
supposed-
mysterious or unexplained, and lots of these clips are pretty convincing. Then there are the others, the ones that are slightly easier to explain. Here, for instance, a college in Singapore has a close encounter with some desktop editing tools.
Oh! Forget about it,
In
Ma!
daylight, a cartoon flying saucer
Meatball's huge!
totally ignoring the keep off the grass signs. Sadly, the video finishes before we meet the occupants, but perhaps they're friendly with this lot. 3 flying saucers this time, hovering in a line right over New York City. This UFO hoaxer has even managed to make the city's skyline look fake. Quite an achievement.
See that?
Then there
Remember
are the
that?
enthusiasts who aren't quite so computer savvy. These American dudes are going for atmosphere as they capture in spooky sepia some sort of spinning bucket on a string. But it all becomes really unmysterious when the bloke holding the ladder gets a bit bored. The best of the UFO fakers, though, has to be this clip from the UK.
That's that.
Just a mediocre fake until the lad with the fishing rod gets in the shot. Mind-boggling.
You see how easy? You see? You see? And you want me to believe that a one-armed bandit, Billy Meyer, couldn't fake this stuff? Of course he could have. And I think he did. The Billy Meyer shit is exactly what these guys are doing. You know why? Because it looks fake. It doesn't look real. Billy Meyer. It looks like he's got a fishing line spinning around a UFO. And you want me to believe Billy Meyer's real? He's real because I believe the guy. His evidence has been debunked. I'm going into Billy Meyer now. All right, that's it on this. That's all there is. It's a real short video, 1.5 minutes. I'm trying to run, guys. I'm trying to run when I should walk. And I don't know why I'm racing here. Let's slow down. So this next video I'm playing because of Missy. She wants me to watch this third phase of moon video from June. The 25th to be exact. And talk about the UFOs that I see on there. So we're going to do that anyway. Let me see here. I'm not too sure. Let me see if this is something else. Here it is. I think this is it. I think this was a guy who called into third phase and then sent the videos in. I don't know. To me, I don't know. I don't think it's real, but what do I know anymore? It's got a fake quality to it.
All right, so are we looking at, again,
I don't know.
another broad daylight sighting of a flying
And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember watching this.
saucer because I don't know what's going on over the past week. I haven't seen
It looks
so many
real,
submissions of flying
but
saucer.
it's just
in
odd
this shape
that
craft
it's not even moving out of its
defying
space. You know what I mean? It's stuck in this position as if it's a hole in the cloud.
gravity and anti-gravity formation of flight. It
Right?
seems.
I mean, there's no detail whatsoever. Do I think it's interesting? Yeah, because it looks like it's actually in and on the video. This one is called They're Getting Closer Than Ever. Share this video. 156,000 views this year. Holy shit.
To me, these characteristics of these craft seem to me that they're not hiding anymore. And this video that was captured from St. Tropez
looks real.
Has an incredible
it looks fake.
Photograph.
And I'm getting angry at myself.
Behind it as well. So sometimes when you're
smells real.
This
hey,
on your phone,
that's a good way to put it.
Quality,
for Luke. Welcome to the show.
720, 1080p. If you could shoot it in 4K, that would
exactly
be awesome.
B. Baker.
The best res you're going to get out of an iPhone or a phone is the photograph feature. Sometimes you might want to use it because
that's what happened.
I'm going to show you a photograph when we take a still off this.
Billy
video,
Meyer lost his arm when it got sheared off riding a bus when his arm was sticking out of the window. I don't know if that's real, but I think he lost it in a war, didn't he?
That's what we're going to
when he was in the French Foreign Legion.
From the submitter, here it is.
Vinny Barbarino, how you doing
I guess
it?
He took the photograph first and then started videotaping
Whoa,
when the object was
all right,
closer.
now I remember this. Wow, can you imagine? See, it's got a fake quality to it because it's too good to be true. And this is the problem we're going to have in ufology for forever. Here we could have legitimate. To me, it looks like there's a washer on top of something here. There's something wrong with this picture. It's too clear. That's what it is. It's too clear, isn't it? These edges are really... I'm not seeing any tomfoolery either. So that means the object most likely is there. I don't see any string. Nothing underneath. No artifacts that fit in.
Brightness, contrast, so we can make this thing pop and get a good look at this craft. Because right now, this isn't any kind of drone that resembles a balloon drone or a drone that could propel itself in the sky, hold itself, sustain itself, stay.
If that's real, I mean, to me, it looks like it's there in the picture, like in the actual picture. And I think they would agree, third phase. I don't think they would take a chance that... see, and here's what's weird. You can see individual lines here. Like, it's almost like a saucer, like a plate turned, a smaller plate on a bigger bowl, and then getting the other side of this bowl and turning it in and matching it up with this bowl or plate. And then up the top here, you have like your sauce bowl, like a little, like one of these, right? You have one of these. Well, everybody knows, you know, one of those, like a real small type of thing. You turn it upside down.
Steady in the sky without any kind of indication of what makes it fly. Brent, your thoughts? We can make videotaping when the object was closer. I'm going to add some brightness, contrast, so we can make this thing pop and get a good look at this craft. Because right now, this isn't any kind of drone that resembles a balloon drone or a drone that could propel itself in the sky, hold itself, sustain itself, steady in the sky without any kind of indication of what makes it fly. Brent, your thoughts? What's making this hover?
I was just blown away. Damn, that was a great photo. I was just looking at.
I mean, it looks like it's there, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I can't. Usually you can tell. But I don't know.
At it, the detail on it was amazing, and again, this video is
really
amazing too. You can see that this is your typical drone. Again, just like last week, we've been going over these great flying saucer UFOs, and we're not seeing propellers or any kind of action or emissions of smoke or anything. This thing seems so stable in the sky. drones don't act like this. They wobble when they tend to turn or any kind of activity. It's trying to get a GPS tracking. This thing is so steady, and that picture is just outstanding. It's showing, it almost looks ancient. The look of it, it has these cracks and detail.
Right. I have a photo that I took in Sedona in 2005, and I showed it here on the show. And it's the only picture I've ever taken that shows what I really believe is a UFO. And in the detail in the picture, I show you that it looks like it's old metal. Like metal that has been around a long time. Like this craft looked like it's been through the ringer. It looks old. And it's kind of amazing that, you know, you kind of almost get that with this description. And I've heard it with many others. I don't have the picture on this computer, but I can get it if I need to. But I'm not going to bother. This is pretty good, guys. It's really good, good video here. I don't know what's going on with the rest of this, but let's take a look at the rest of their video here, because it's, I see something. Oh, you're throwing comparisons, I think.
And we're going to have a sneak peek with our documentary that we've been working on over the whole year. You know, things got slowed down with obviously what's going on around the world with obtaining some of the information and interviews that we need to complete this documentary. But just stay tuned for the end. We're going to show you some sneak peeks of what we've been working on. But in the meanwhile, while we're doing this episode and looking at this incredible footage, some people are speculating that this thing looks exactly like the gimbal from what has been declassified and been shared to the public. The Navy is admitting that what these guys have been capturing, these pilots.
Boy, I don't remember seeing this.
From this Earth. Well, that is the big question, but let's do a quick side-by-side comparison. I'm going to grab a still off this video, and some people are saying it's a dead ringer. It's a match.
Of course it is.
Let's do this. Here's the still from the video that was captured. And now we're going to compare it to the footage that was captured by the pilots. I'm going to do a superimpose of the photograph, and then I'm going to slide the video to the left, and there's the the Navy still photograph. Guys, come on, is this...
Look, it's a clear match. Like,
you see that?
Similar.
We have some anomalies on the bottom and the top of the disc captured by the Navy pilots.
Of course.
Again, declassified footage.
And again, even in that footage of the Pentagon footage, you can see how steady it is. Just as steady as this object.
The same flight characteristics. Again, I'm going to bring up the video still image to the left of it. And
this is cool. Thanks for joining us, guys. I like seeing this transformation right there. Look how it fits like a glove.
If it, that
if
fits.
It fits.
That fits.
That's ridiculous. That is so cool. If it fits, is it the same thing? Very possible. Very, 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 very possible. That's a trip. All right. I'm going to play a video that was sent to me by Third Phase. This is a surfer versus giant squid. It's a short video, 55 seconds, but wickedly cool. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. See why I had to keep doing the show. You would have missed this.
Look how she's grabbing into the board.
That's amazing. Very cool. That thing was huge. I don't know. All right, next video. I'm going to play a little bit of it, but I'm not even going to say anything. It has nothing to do with the paranormal, but right after this, I'm going to read that book. This video is getting very popular. There's a few of them. It's a man and raccoons.
It's 10 to 7, and I got a bucket of grapes. I'm going to throw that whole bucket out because I can't get out the door to do the hot dogs. So, this is going to be fun now. All right, here. Come on. Come on, watch your toes. Watch your toes. Here. Oh, stop it. Oh, they're really going at it, look. See, it's snowing out right now. Let's go. Oh my God. This is crazy. This is crazy. You know, there's got to be 30 raccoons at least.
I'm jealous.
I don't know where they all come from. Oh my God.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, they all love me.
I would love to do this.
Food. Yeah, and I got Buddy hanging off me. Yeah. Here you go. Ready? Here you go. There you go. Are things settling down? I got 8 pounds of hot dogs here in this bucket. Woo! Things are settled down. Finally. Holy smokes. Yeah. I gotta get
How cool.
2 hands going here. Yeah, they're all, I tell you, see, they're really super hungry because of the cold. And it's -6 here right now, Celsius. So it's below freezing. There we go. So they, and we're going to have a big snow again tonight. Halifax got, the traffic is, the 2 bridges are closed in Halifax because of accidents. And, there you go. Holy smoke, here. Yes! I get everybody here. I get the whole woods here.
How do you know who's who? Very cute video. I really enjoyed it. Just thought I'd share that for a moment, just so we can get a little bit of time. Because it is that time. Right? Aren't we going? We're going to do it now? We're going to read? All right, let me get the creep on. COVID. So, if you're not in the mood to hear a story about a spacewoman speaking, I'm gonna recommend that you think about this, because I'm gonna try to make this as entertaining as possible. Just seeing how the story goes. I'm not gonna ruin it, don't worry. I'm taking this very seriously. Damn it. Introduction. No? No good? I can't turn the lights off. It's a green screen now. Can't do it. We're stuck like this. You want me to change it? This is the background. All right, here we go. COVID. Introduction. Sightings of strange objects in the sky, known as flying saucers, are so numerous and so well verified that no really intelligent person can now doubt their existence. Certain details force most of them to accept the fact that these spacecraft could not originate on planet Earth. The questions which they now ask, often fearfully, are: what are the saucers? Where do they come from? What sort of beings operate them? What is their purpose here? As one of the race of people who controlled these craft, I shall attempt, with the aid of various associates, to answer these questions. It is my hope that I may thus be able to still the fears of the frightened ones and encourage the hopes of those who will accept my statements. To introduce myself, my name, translated into your written language, is Borealis. It might be noted that all names used in this explanation have been thus translated. The means of identification which we use would mean nothing to you, and we have attempted to give you, instead, those which would be understandable in your language. The planet which you call Venus is my home. Although do not regard myself as a native, since my people did not originate here, my present home is not on the Venus you see, but on a higher frequency level, which is somewhat larger than Venus, which you know. Your scientists may tell you that life on this planet is impossible because the Venusian atmosphere is unsuitable for life. Actually, conditions on the surface of the planet do not concern us, as will be explained later. The planet does, however, teem with life forms of every sort. As a matter of fact, all of the planets and their moons contain life of some sort. The tests which your astronomers have made reach no further than the stratosphere of the various planets, which give no indication as to the conditions on the surface 100 miles or so below. COVID. See? These same tests made on your own stratosphere would indicate that neither are chemical and temperature conditions suitable for life. I thought we landed on Venus, and within 15 minutes it deteriorated because of the acid atmosphere. To continue the introduction, I am the high priestess of the mother temple of our people on Venus. The details on our religious beliefs are not important to this explanation, but I will tell you that we are monotheists, recognizing one supreme deity as the first cause and creator of all things. We call it the unnameable because we believe that no word or name can create the correct mental picture of it. A mind housed in a mortal and finite shell, by its very nature, correctly comprehend that which is immortal and infinite. It has no standards of comparison. Many of your people will reject what I say because they do not have enough education to understand it. Most of your men of science will also reject it because they have too much education of the wrong sort. Even among those whom we regard as more advanced among you, there will be some who will at first feel inclined to reject it because parts of what I say may be in conflict with some religion or philosophy which they have adopted, but the remaining ones will, I believe, be sufficient in number to make my efforts worthwhile. Since I am a mortal being, what I say is subject to all the errors of mortals. While I do have access to records and other sources of information which are not available to you, I am neither omniscient or infallible, nor perhaps entirely free from prejudice. My people, whom you may call the Norse, are far in advance of yours in science. I also like to think that, on the average, they are somewhat higher in ethics. They are exceptions, however. There are. All is not sweetness and good among us. There are quite wide variations of good and evil. We are neither demons come to destroy you, or gods to magically deliver you. We are, in the final analysis, just people. People who are not greatly different from earth folk deep inside. People who live, love, hope and fear, and on occasion laugh and weep. We regard you and greet you as brothers in the trust sense of the word Borealis. Chapter 1. In the beginning. The Norse, who operate, but not all, of the strange craft you see in the skies, are one of the elder races or guardians of your planet. At the present time, we are the largest group operating in this solar system. Although there are members of other races present, these elder races have been guarding your planet ever since the first humans appeared on it. At the same time, they have been attempting to tutor you and to guide your development using subtle pressures which would not hamper your own self-development. There have never been a time since your beginning when they have been completely absent. Their numbers at any particular time vary according to the conditions which prevail. When affairs are developing in a normal and smooth manner, there may be only a small number of observers. In times of crisis, their activities greatly increase. Hold on a second, guys. I should play a video in the background, right? You don't want to watch me. Should I play a video? I won't right now. I will need a break shortly, though. COVID. These elder races created the physical bodies of your ancestors. They did not, of course, create their spiritual bodies, since this is beyond the ability of any mortal. Those parts of the self are directly of and from the unnameable. When it was found that Earth was ready for human life, it was determined what physical characteristics were necessary and desirable for its particular environment. Then, by methods very similar to those employed by animal breeders, when they are producing a new species, they develop these characteristics. Carefully selected parents were bred together in such manner as to fix the desired traits and eliminate the undesired ones. The biblical Garden of Eden was the biological laboratory of these elder races. The word Adam is not the name of an individual, but a racial or group name. JT? Oh, it was common for the ancients to thus personify an entire race or group with the single name. The custom survives to this day, as witnessed the personification of several million Britishers as John Bull, etc. The Adams were sent out of the garden, as your Bible tells, but it was a precautionary measure rather than punishment. Being in such close contact with the elder races, they were beginning to pick up many things from observation and chance remarks of their mentors. It was feared that they might learn things which it would not be good for them to know. So early in their development, so they were sent out into the world by themselves. The women naturally got the blame for this, since such has been the custom of men since the beginning of time. Perhaps some ancient Eve was the bottom of it. It is usually the woman who wonder if things could not be improved and begins to snoop around to find out. Wow, this is very sexist. I can't read this thing. This is not easy. Do you know how long this is? I'll just do chapter 1. This is very difficult for me. Not because of the sexist comment, But it's not easy to keep reading. I should have started the show this way, an hour and a half later. Anyway. See, that was 12 minutes already. All right. As long as man has a comfortable place to sleep, plenty to eat, and is not required to exert himself in any way, he asks no questions. He is satisfied with the status quo. Actually, the thing that would have been done eventually in any case, it was a necessary part of their training to put them out on their own at the proper time. In no other way could they be taught to use their mental and physical abilities and develop resourcefulness. So, in defense of my own sex, I must point out, that's the woman, I must point out that the worst that can be said of this ancient Eve is perhaps she slightly hastened the inevitable. Note particularly that part in your Bible where the Lord God says, "Behold, the man has become as one." Since the deity was always recognized as singular, this should clearly indicate that there was some much less being speaking to a group of equals, specifically the elder races. However, if any prefer to think the deity, personally, create the races of men upon earth, I shall not contend with them. In one sense, they are right. Since the unnameable is the sole first cause in the universe, it becomes, by philosophical extension, the creator of all things. Eve, though, it may employ mundane means to accomplish the actual creation. This confusion between the real deity and elder races appears many times in the Bible and in other ancient writings. The cause was clearly and very advanced scientific and mental abilities of the elder races. The Adams could not begin to understand them, and so concluded that these must necessarily be supernatural beings. Since this would make them more willing to obey orders and instructions, I fear that the elder races probably made no great effort to disillusion them. As the Adams advanced, they began to get a somewhat truer picture of their mentors. In the latter parts of the Bible, they became sons of God, prophets, and other terms somewhat less than divine. The latter Greeks also apparently realized that their gods were beings of exceptional powers, but were actually mortals and were not always good. The Guardians remained on your planet in person for many thousands of years. To you, that would be a long time. In our time concept, it was merely an interlude. We not only count our lifespan in thousands of years, but also carry our most important memories forward from one life to the next. The environment on your planet is not favorable to our people, so as soon as they deemed that the Adams could safely be left to their own resources, the Guardians left. The accounts of their leaving appear in many of your ancient records, although you might have some difficulty in recognizing them. The peoples of those times had no knowledge of science and so were unable to clearly describe what they saw. Since then, the Guardians have not appeared openly among you. Although there have been always a few of their craft in your skies somewhere and a certain number of surface observers living among you, these latter are necessary because there are certain things which can be done best and most conveniently by personal contact. These are carefully selected and trained and are able to mingle freely among you without danger of detection. The Norse, like all of the elder races, have the ability to alter their bodies in any desired manner by using the creative powers of thought. Thus, they could simulate any race or even animal forms if desired. In the present instance, this is not necessary since our natural appearance has a very close, superficial resemblance to your own Nordic races who, incidentally, took their name from us. Our former zone of activity was the North European area, and for the people there were our particular charge. In the latter days, there was some mixture of elder race's blood with the Adams. In the latter days, there was some mixture of elder race blood with the Adams. The sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all they chose. This statement, like the others in your Bible, refers specifically to the Near East area, which was under the supervision of other peoples. In general, however, these statements would apply equally well to our area and to those of the other peoples. And that ends chapter 1, and that ends this incredibly amazing story that is literally making me very weary. Reading? I can't do it that much. You have no idea how hard it is till you do it. So we'll stop there. We'll continue another time, after maybe every night until we're done. I tell you, each chapter is like 2 pages, just like I read. So that'll take about 15 minutes. I thought I could do an hour. It's not easy. And I didn't really read it fully. I read pieces. So I didn't realize it was going to be this. It's a Venusian, right? A Venusian being called Nor, right? Is it Nor? What is her name? I forget. I'm reading it and I can't remember. Well, Niksha, I'm trying, but my mouth doesn't want to work. It's an interesting story, though. I mean, it's not real, right? It's not a real person. Is it a real person? Is it a real person? I gave up quick. You read. You try reading that out loud perfectly, by the way. I thought I did phenomenally. Do you have how much energy that takes? And I've already been talking for an hour and a half. Yeah, I did. I gave up. Borealis. I gave up because 2 reasons. One, it is extremely hard to do, which I knew it would be, but I didn't think it would be that hard for me. Number 2, I'm going on 2 hours. And usually the last 30 minutes of the show, I'm running on empty. Because I'm talking the whole show pretty much. So to read something and be eloquent about it and read everything perfectly is not as easy as you think. So yeah, I don't think I gave up. I think I knew my limits before I started effing up. Because that's what's going to happen. And then I'm going to get frustrated and then I'm going to ruin the story. It's pretty interesting. So Borealis is a Venusian. Now, we have landed on Venus. COVID. See? I get all this buildup of phlegm. You guys don't know. I'm using the cough button the entire show. When the video plays, I'm no, I'm not really, but I do use it. Anyway, we'll read a chapter a night and not remember what the chapter was the night before. So me reading it would have no effect on the story. But if you guys want to check out the book, it's a short read if you're reading it. But if you're dictating it out loud, it is not as easy a read. But check it out. It's called A Spacewoman Speaks. It is what it is. I tried. What do you want from me? I read for 15 minutes straight. Thanks, Rich. I appreciate you trying. I appreciate that. Wow, you gave up quick. That's the answer I get. That's the thanks I get. Unbelievable. I know, you probably just meant it. Wow, you gave up quick like you didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. I didn't think I would give up that quick. I figured I'd do 3 paragraphs and see how I felt. I didn't realize I'd be tired halfway through the first paragraph. This is what happens when I talk too much. So, you're welcome.
in
Video captures flying objects that officials can't explain. I don't know what this is. You want to watch it? Here we go. It's up to you if you believe. I can only bring a horse to water. Can't force it to drink.
Colorado and Nebraska.
That is so creepy.
A mystery in the night sky. What some say are drones, lots of them, but no one seems to know from where or why.
That little dot right there.
Jennifer Rollins was visiting family in Yuma County the day after Christmas when she spotted the flying objects, capturing this one on camera.
It's just hovering there.
It's a mystery and you want answers.
Yeah, and I think everybody out there does too. It's really unnerving to be out there by yourself and you see these flashing lights near your home. You want to know what it is and why.
Thank you, Mr. DB Cooper. I know. I'm trying. Hey, I advertised, I read. What else can I do? I can only do so much. This is why people don't read on live shows. It's very hard. Anyway, this is nothing. I just realized a lot of people saw a lot of nothing.
Information 200 to
Thanks for the $10 super chat,
some with
Mr. DB
wingspans
Cooper. Thank
estimated
you.
at 6 feet.
Beautiful.
One sheriff pinpointing the area where a rancher spotted some on New Year's Eve.
He observed anywhere from 5 to 10 drones over about a 25-mile square radius.
Although they don't believe the flying
Phantom.
objects to be malicious, officials want answers. Colorado Senator Cory Gardner tweeting that he's closely monitoring the situation. A Federal Aviation Administration spokesman telling CNN multiple FAA divisions and government agencies are investigating these reports. It's not clear if the flights are breaking
DJI.
any laws, but
No.
they've drawn attention just as the
No.
FAA proposed
Yes.
sweeping new regulations requiring most drones to be identifiable. Legal or not,
There's a string on it. It's a balloon. I hate these balloon videos. These balloon drones they got nowadays. Coral, what happened? You like listening to people read? You want me to continue? You want me to continue the story? Look at that. Unbelievable ungratefulness. Unbelievable. So amazing to me that you would even be so like that. Keep it at shallow entertainment and they'll be happy. Well, I tell you what. Spark up your own YouTube channel, create a show, and do what you want to do. I'm doing what I want to do. I tried it. It's tiring. And you could go away now. Now I'm done with you. Now I got to turn my back to you. Unbelievable. You guys liked it, okay? Not ungrateful? Okay. All right. It's hard to determine what the attitude of the comment means. You know how texts are and stuff like that. So, hey, if you guys liked it, I will try to continue. I promise I'll try. In my mind, am getting tired. It's not easy to read. I'm not reading it because I'm bored. I love to show off reading skills. Okay. All right. See, Niksha, you may know more than me on this one. You may know more than I do. You may realize this may be something I should be doing more of. And I apologize if I came out a little rude, but I thought you were being rude, so I was just being defensive. Okay. I thought the story was interesting. I'm interested to hear is that a real person though? Is that supposed to be a real person or is it just a story? Because I tried to find out. That's true, B. Baker. Cashew? Thank you for that. That's what I'm going to do. I actually have a really good idea. I could really make that story unbelievable, but I could turn it into a video and create the story with video, narration, reading, find videos that look like the characters. You know what I mean? Like a documentary type. That would take me a long time. It's just not easy for me to read. First of all, I never told you guys, but I really hate reading. I hate it because my eyes hurt after a few minutes. And it was a problem in school because every time I read, I would get a migraine headache. And it wasn't because I had bad eyes. Maybe it was, but I went to the eye doctor. I would get headaches like you wouldn't believe. So I would read in moderation. I read about as much as I am going to read. I have read books before and didn't get headaches. But we're talking about in front of lights. I'm wearing glasses. I'm already an hour and a half into a show. See, I could have read another paragraph by now. All right, I'm going to try to read chapter 2 because I did read parts of it and it was interesting. So chapter 2. So right now you got how the Norse, the elder races, they have the ability to alter their bodies, live amongst us, but they pretty much look Nordic, and that's how they're fitting in with us here in our civilization. Now, this is chapter 2, the Garden of Eden. As your Bible correctly records, Genesis 64, the elder races lived in the earth, not on it. The surface environment was very unfavorable for them. The Garden of Eden was naturally also in the earth, and the atoms were sent up and out onto the surface. Okay? The Apocryphal account of their first day and night on the surface, first book of Adam and Eve, tells of their dismay when the sun set and their terror when it rose again the next morning, thus plainly indicating that they were entirely unfamiliar with surface conditions. There were actually several gardens, since each of the elder races was assigned to populate a certain area. There were close cooperation between these groups and considerable exchange of technical personnel, since certain groups excelled in certain arts. Overall, of these groups was a coordinating authority. He was of a higher race than the elders, but was still immortal, not a true deity. Important decisions were formed by mutual consultation and agreement between groups, and all usually put them into effect at the same time. The biblical accounts actually deal with one of these areas, the Hebraic Greco-Assyrian zone. However, they would apply with only minor modifications to all areas and groups. The various Adamic races have different versions of these first days. If I don't make the right pronunciations of some of these words, because I've never seen them before. Some of their information is factual, but much of it is necessarily allegorical because the things were beyond the understanding of those who wrote the accounts. Most of these accounts also have suffered much during translations and revisions. Analyzing them with these factors in mind, however, will show that they are all basically the same anyway. The statement that God created man in his own image is correct from either the physical or spiritual point of view. The real, or inner, self is part of the unnameable, so is necessarily in its image. Each of the elder races naturally considered their own racial characteristics to be superior, so made their particular atoms to look as nearly like themselves as possible. Various internal changes were necessary, but their creations were superficially the same in appearance as themselves. Thus, the material self is also in the image of the material gods, quote unquote. The parent stock of the atoms consisted of many low vibrational level life forms, both human and non-human, from many other worlds. Persons and animals are occasionally taken from your planet in a similar manner for the purpose of populating some other young world. The consent of such persons is always obtained. The purpose is explained, and they are permitted to make a completely free will decision. Most of them enthusiastically agree. If they should not, all memories of the incident are erased from their minds, and they are returned unharmed in any way. It is almost impossible to trace the genealogy of your present races. Many former land areas no longer exist. Hey, we talked about this earlier. Many new ones have arisen. During the resulting mass migrations, there was great intermixing of the races. Most of the present races of your planet are mixtures of several different ancient peoples. In addition to the races which were actually bred on your planet, there were two other groups who were developed elsewhere and moved to your world in mass when disaster faced their own planets. You formerly had a tertiary moon. You formerly had a tertiary moon. Tertiary moon, which was named Azatlan, although it also was known as Baal, B-A-L, to some. Due to certain natural laws, it came so close to Earth that it was torn to pieces by conflicting forces. The fragments fell upon Earth as meteors, and this rain of fire is noted in many of your ancient writings and legends. A few of the fragments still orbit Earth as an asteroid belt. Yeah. The resulting disturbance also changed the position of Luna and made it unsuitable for surface life. These events had been foreseen, and most of the inhabitants were safely brought to Earth before the catastrophes. The Atlans were settled in the former continent of Atlantis, which took its name from them. They soon outgrew it and spread their colonies all over the Mediterranean Sea. They, as the predominant factor in the present peoples of the nations of this part of the world. The Luninians were settled in the central part of Asia. Many of them died when certain great geological changes took place in this area, but they left their mark on many Asiatic peoples. Asiatic? Told you, I don't know some of these words. Madonna mia. The elder races were forced to their underworld life on this planet because of the radioactive solar emanations on this Earth plane. These caused them to age prematurely and cut their lifespan to a fraction of its normal length. On our own vibrational level, we are above these particular radiations. We are subject to certain mildly detrimental emanations, greatly increased by your own atomic explosions, but have ways of partially counteracting them. These radioactive poisons are the chief cause of your own short lifespan. They settle in the bones and tissues with cumulative effect. After they reach a certain concentration, the various organs of your body cease to function in a normal manner, and you eventually grow old. If your scientists were to check a newborn baby, they would find that it did not register any radioactivity. The mother's body filters out all the emanations. As a person grows older, this radioactivity constantly increases. certain persons are better able to resist this process than others. Those who look young or old for their age would show corresponding differences in their radioactivity. By burrowing deep into the earth, the elder races were able to avoid much of this poisoning, the thick layer of earth acting as a filter. At a certain depth, there is a zone of light. Here, certain of the energy flows which are not converted by your stratosphere are changed into light by the effect of certain elements in the earth. It was in this zone of soft, continuous light that the elders built their homes. They did this by disintegrating the material in the space required and packing its energy into the walls and ceilings to form a lining, a very dense and strong material. This eventually grew into a multi-tiered underworld, extending under both land and sea, whose total area was much greater than that of the surface world. Wow. The elder races regarded their cavern homes as very undesirable, in spite of their vastness and elaborateness. They were not completely shielded from the radioactive poisons and consequently suffered many ailments which had been heretofore unknown to them. They felt confined and longed for their own homes where they could live on the surface. As soon as they deemed the atoms sufficiently advanced to no longer require such close and constant supervision, most of the elders left for their own homes. A few chose to remain behind. The others regarded them as foolish, if not insane, but conceded their right to stay is their desire to do so. When these few who remained were free from the restraining influence of the main group, they began to bring evil members of the Adamic people to join them various sadistic orgies. The other surface people, whom they were supposed to guide and protect, were constantly tortured and tormented. Among the atoms, the concept of the underworld changed from a place of good to a place of evil. After all other means of controlling them had failed, forces were sent to correct these conditions. Some of the mad gods were removed to other places for treatment. Others were placed in forcible restraint for the remainder of their lives. The entrances to the underworld were sealed. Since then, small groups of varying moral levels have found their way into the underworld through accidentally uncovering entrances. Most of the ancient cavern system still exists, and small groups still live there. The writings of Richard S. Shaver, which caused somewhat of a stir in occult circles a while ago, described many of the features of the caverns. Like all fictionalized reports, however, they must be read critically. Many things have been distorted by presenting rare and occasional incidents as typical. Some entirely fictional details have been added. The author cannot be entirely blamed for this state of affairs. In order to successfully commercialize a book, one must cater to the intellectual and moral level of the mass mind. This, unfortunately, is not high. Meaning people are stupid. Sex is of paramount interest to your people. So this angle was stressed in the most sensational manner possible. If one were to take these tales as factual, he would think that our ancestors were indeed an immoral and dissolute lot. They were just horny. Horror is another subject of great reader fascination, so the Deros were greatly overstressed. That's D-E-R-O-S. There are a few in the elders' abandoned cavern homes who would fall into this classification, but their influence is insignificant. The evil which they do to you is but a drop of water in the ocean when compared to the evil which you do unto another. The evils which plague your world are not due in any important degree to any sinister unseen influence. They are primarily due to your own decadence and degeneration. They follow the old familiar pattern of the general breakdown of intellectual and moral levels which have prefaced the last days of all former civilizations. It is the inexorable end of any social order which seeks to build a master race upon the misery and suffering of its brothers. Your much prized way of life is destined to a lingering and painful death. It is even now in its premonitory death throes. I would be morally dishonest if, in order to avoid offending you, I should pretend otherwise. The pattern could be changed if your rulers and priesthood were wise. We have carefully scanned their inner thoughts to find if any realized the true nature of the problem which faced them, to find if some perhaps would bravely pioneer the way out. With the few very inspiring exceptions, we have not found that for which we sought. Instead, we found an obstinate determination to hold fast, to strengthen and defend the old order with all of its evils, to ruthlessly destroy any who attempt to change it in any detail. Some speak sincerely of greater justice and freedoms, but frustrate their own dreams by attempting to build them on the rotting foundations of the existing evil institutions. But neither is the correct way of the communists. Some of their arms are high. I'm starting to lose it. Some of their aims are high, and many have dedicated themselves to the task of attaining these ends. But they attempt the impossible task of attaining good results by evil and unworldly means. The fruit can never be better than the plant upon which it grew. You have a shitty foundation, you're going to have shitty results. You see what I'm saying? You see what they're saying? These statements are not a prophecy in the mystical sense of the word. They are merely statements of the workings of certain inescapable natural laws and an analysis of certain existing patterns and trends. We see that now. The results are not necessarily inevitable. By bringing activities into harmony with the natural laws, the pattern could be changed. In all honesty, I must say that there is no present indication that it will be changed, although many of my people are working in every lawful manner to influence the thinking of your people to the end that they may change their present course of action. And that is the end of chapter 2. Let me see how long chapter 3 is. I can do chapter 3 and that's it. Everywhere is home. Everywhere is home. It could not correctly be said that any of the elder races come from any specific place. They are all space-traveling people who inhabit a countless number of places for varying lengths of time. Perhaps some or all of them did have some specific home at one time, but if so, all records of it have been lost. There are Noors in several different solar systems. For many ages past, they have had bases and colonies on Mars and Venus. Others of the elder races have similar installations on other planets. We maintain advanced bases on Luna, as also do several other groups. Since Mars and Venus are the nearest planets to you, they serve as control or check-in points for those coming from other parts of the universe to visit your world. It is here that they are briefed on any matters which they should know, and make any necessary preparations for continuing their journey to Earth. It is these visitors who have made most of the contacts with you, since our people seldom have need to personally talk to any of you in the course of their duties. When these visitors say they have come from Mars or Venus or some other nearby planet, they are merely stating that's their last port of call, not the real origin. It's like a waypoint. Some may visit you on some self-assumed mission. Others are trying to increase their knowledge of the universe. For still others, it is merely a sort of pleasure cruise to amuse them and satisfy their curiosity. That's what I always said. The Norse, in common with the other elder races, normally live on a vibrational level or wavelength which is much higher than your own. Since your awareness range is a narrow one, we would not exist so far as your senses are concerned when we were in our normal state. You would be unaware of us for the same reason that an ordinary radio receiver is unaware of a telecast transmission. You are simply not able to tune up to our channel. Yet, we are quite solid and we are real. These are sounds which your ears cannot hear, and colors which your eyes cannot see. Yet there are actually just as real as those which register on your senses. We do, as humans, see in a very narrow path. It is ridiculously narrow. I can't imagine what we're not seeing. We know. We see it with the other cameras. The Norse, I already read that. Our range of perception is much wider than yours, but the difference in levels is so great that we normally are also unaware of you. We do have the ability to extend our perception range down to your level, but for most effective observation, it is necessary that we actually convert or tune ourselves down to your frequency range. This can be done either by direct mental effort or by a simulated form of the same energy produced by a certain mechanism. At our base on Luna, there is a master pulse generator, which blankets your planet with a wave of the correct frequency to accomplish conversation to your vibrational level. All our craft and surface observers have a small mechanism which will enable them to lock into synchronism with this wave. This automatically maintains them on the proper frequency level without any further mental effort on their part. They can drop out of sync at any time and take over mental control if they should desire to slightly change their level. In a recent incident over Washington, D.C., our craft suddenly disappeared from sight, and a flight of your aircraft flew through the spot we were in. Your radar, which has a much higher range of perception than your eyes, continued to record the presence of our craft. They were, in fact, still there. The operators had merely raised their frequency level slightly in order to avoid a collision, and your aircraft were able to fly through ours. Some have termed the sudden appearance of our craft as materialization. This is not usually correct in the normal usage of the word. Our craft are quite material at all times. If you travel from New York to Washington, your reality has ceased to exist so far as the New York range of perception is concerned. Yet, you are actually the same you, and are quite real to yourself and to anyone else on the Washington range of your perception. It is exactly the same with our craft, except that instead of traveling on the surface, they are traveling up and down the scale of the vibrational frequencies. Actually, they may often be moving in the length, breadth, height dimensions, while simultaneously traveling in its fifth dimension, which is completely independent of the four-dimensional time-space continuum. Again, they may often be moving in the length, breadth, height dimensions, while simultaneously traveling in the fifth dimension, which is completely independent of the four-dimensional time-space continuum. Einstein and some of your other advanced thinkers now realize that the various forms of energy with which you are familiar, light, heat, gravity, electricity, and magnetism, are merely different forms of the same force. This primary energy flow, which permeates all space, is so high in frequency that they can only postulate it. It has no characteristic which will register on their physical senses or any instruments which they could devise. It is imperceptible until modified in some manner, just as electricity is imperceptible until you introduce some modification such as resistance, inductance, or capacitance. In this, as in any other solar system, the sun is the focal point of these primary energy flows. Contrary to popular opinion, the sun is neither hot nor luminous. Its radiations are these same characterless primary energy flows. These are converted into light, heat, cosmic rays, and other forms by certain elements in your own upper stratosphere. The sun does radiate sufficient energy to produce the temperatures which your men of science compute, but the actual conversion into heat is not accomplished at the sun. It only appears so due to the fact that you are seeing it through your conversion zone. When viewed from any planet which has an atmosphere, the other planets and stars would appear about as they do to you. In space, however, all would be dark and cold. The planets would glow very faintly due to the refraction of a very small part of the energy flow, but most of the flow is directed downward to the surface. The light, which you see from the planets and the stars, is not transmitted as light. It is a reflected, or in the case of the stars, energy flow which is converted into light in your own upper stratosphere in the same manner as the solar flows. It should be noted that when I speak of space, I do so with the reference to your frequency level. There are many different frequency levels or planes beyond your range of perception. Each of these contains many worlds. Some of these coexist with or overlap planets visible to you. Others are in what you regard as empty space. Your own world is also empty space on the perception range of some of these other worlds. My present home is not on the Venus you see, but on a higher frequency level world which is somewhat larger than the Venus which you know and see. Someday, your advanced thinkers will go on the next fact, namely, that what you call solid objects are also merely another form of these primary energy flows. They are merely energy which has been slowed down by some external influence to a very low level. They have been created from pure energy and are constantly straining to break free from the restraining force and return to pure energy. It is this fact which makes all objects perishable. All things must, by progressive means, return to their original source. Since material objects are only another form of energy, they are subject to all physical laws which governs energy. They can be converted from one form to another. The frequency level of their existence can be raised or lowered. Just as several different messages of different frequencies can be transmitted over the same cable without interference, so too can several different material objects of different frequency levels occupy the same space without interfering with each other in any way. They can, and do, coexist intradimensionally. Chapter 4 is the saucers. It is a longer chapter. I will stop it there. Good? Are we good? You want me to continue? I need a break if we're going to continue. I can continue. We're almost done. All right. We're going to take a small break. I need a small break. I got to get my drink because I left it over there. So we're going to watch a short video. I need 2 minutes. Just watch a ghost video here for me, will you? And I'll finish. We'll start with Chapter 4, Saucers, when we come back in 2 minutes.
Top 10 ghosts caught on camera. Flipping out. A Reddit user says that his brother was alone at their mom's house when the lights in the hallway began to mysteriously turn on and off. He pulled out his camera and began filming.
Okay, so it's doing it again. That switch down there is on. You can see it past my shaking. This one is on, okay? It's Mom. See what I mean? It's you can hear it. You Mom, nope.
The light seems to turn on and off for no reason. But by far the weirdest thing is that when he pans over to the light switch, you can actually see that it's moving on its own.
Mom, nope.
Currently, this video is being hotly debated on Reddit. Some claim it's a hoax, but many others believe that the video is 100% legit. One user even analyzed the video in an attempt to prove that it's real. But you can check out the R Paranormal subreddit to follow the continuing controversy over this bizarre clip. Helping Hand. Aubrey Beatrice was acting in a student film in her high school auditorium. She was meant to knock on the door, then shove it open wide with one push.
Go. Knock, go.
Now, let's break down what actually happens in the video. Aubrey knocks, then attempts to shove the door open, but it only opens slightly.
Knock, go.
Then the door just seems to open the rest of the way, all on its own. You can see Aubrey reach to push the door open, but she finds that it's already open wide. Aubrey seems legitimately confused and a little creeped out. But when Aubrey Beatrice posted the video on her Twitter, viewers began to analyze the video. And then things got even stranger. It almost looks as if someone is hiding in the background just inside the door. Someone who ducks back out of sight when the door opens. But Aubrey says there was no one else in that room with her. So just who or what is this? You decide. Office visitor. In this next clip, the uploader claims that the video was taken from footage on an in-office CCTV system.
All right. I am halfway through the reading of it's called a Spacewoman Speaks. Spacewoman, who goes by the name Borealis, like Aurora Borealis, right? Comes from Venus, but not the Venus we see, at a different vibration level, which is Venus would look a little bigger than it does now. Who talks about the beginning of man, how we became on this planet from underneath the world because of the elders and all this other training and shit and evildoers. I mean, this is amazing. This is what we're going through today in politics. It seems like we're repeating ourselves. And we're on the, is it precipice? We're at the beginning levels of our existence the way things are now. I believe we are. I believe this is the beginning of the end for the way things are. Anyway, let's get back to the story. You want me to play a video in the background? I can do that. Should I play something in the background for you? Are you okay with the way things are? Scientology, yeah, it's kind of like that. I think this is better than Scientology. Put a video on in the background. All right, let me get a video to put in the background here. Like what? I'll just put on a drone video flying around while I tell the story. That's what I'll do. This way, I know how long it'll be on. Nothing offensive will be coming out of it. Let me just find a good one here. Yeah, they're all... I got to find out... Oh, I could play that, but that would get me in trouble here. So. These aren't going to be fantastic drone videos, guys. It's just me messing around. Let me just make sure I get a good one here that's more than 5 minutes. This way I have something to look at. They're all short, like 3 minutes. Here's an 11-minute one, but it's nothing really. 6 minutes? I did find that 11-minute one, but I think I'm sitting in one place for 5 minutes. All right, I'm going to use it. Here we go. Let me take a look real quick. Oh, by the way, I found, remember when I sent up looking for the balloon? I found, I was looking through those videos and I found a lot of footage. I was actually on the balloon a long time. I'll show it later. Yeah, I'm going to play a good video though. I know. I'm sorry I'm taking long, but I feel my throat going back to its normal size. I better get back real quick or else I won't be able to. All right. I'm almost there. I believe this is it. 10 minutes. No sound. Just bullshit. All right. Just bullcrap. All right, I'm going to back into the story now. So right where we left off, this next chapter is chapter 4, and I believe it was flying saucers. So everywhere is home. That was the chapter we just finished. Everywhere is home. They're everywhere. And when they say they come from Mars, they may not necessarily come from Mars. That was like a waypoint. So this is a very interesting story. So the saucers, chapter 4. There has been considerable controversy, among your disc experts as to whether the objects they are, it says they are C, but wait, hold on. My eyes, the objects they see are built and controlled by mental means or by orthodox but very advanced scientific principles. The former thesis has been offered by Mead Lane, founder of the Borderland Sciences Research Associates, who believes that many, if not all of the larger spaceships, are projected as mental constructs which then draw to themselves etheric or physical matter. The other hypothesis is the favorite of those who are mentally unable to accept any paraphysical explanation. Either might be right as regards any individual sighting. It would depend upon who was operating the craft and certain other circumstances. It should be understood that anything which can be done by the use of any physical sciences can theoretically be done by mental means alone. The degree of the maximum potential which any individual can attain, depends on his individual knowledge and ability. Different branches of the elder races have different interests and have developed their maximum skill in different fields. There are some who make almost a cult of the mental sciences and will not use any sort of mechanical device if it can possibly be avoided. The Norse, on the other hand, will go to great lengths to accomplish the same results by use of various devices, even when the objective could be accomplished quite easily by use of the mental sciences. Our technicians claim that this permits them to concentrate their mental attention on other tasks. The visiting or tourist craft may often be constructed and controlled entirely by mental means. The Norcraft are usually made and driven by means of the various physical sciences. The control of our craft is usually either manual or automatic, although the operator can take over mental control at any time, and frequently does under certain conditions. The mental, God almighty, the video is out of the corner of my eye, and it's very, very frustrating. The method of construction does not make any important difference in the nature of the object. You would be unable, by examination, to determine whether an object has been made by mental or physical means. The members of the patrol who operate our craft are much more skilled in the mental sciences than the rest of our people. Physical means are neither as versatile nor as quickly responsive as mental means. On the present assignment, conditions are well known, and operations can be largely routine and automatic. On other assignments, they may be working with many unknown factors and must be on the alert to meet any sudden development. Under such circumstances, that customarily drive and control the craft entirely by mental means. The quote-unquote tourist craft, which you might see from time to time, are so varied that it would be impossible even to catalog them all. You might literally see anything. They might be the same ships in which these visitors have come from some distant world, although it is not likely. It is much more probable that you would see merely the small craft which most of these larger craft carry, much as your ocean ships carry small boats. It is not impossible, however, for these interplanetary ships to land directly on your planet. The main reason that they do not do so is that they are unusually large by your standards and would be likely to attract too much unwelcome attention. The craft operated by my people are the most numerous over your planet at the present time, although they are not necessarily those which are most frequently seen. They often operate just above your visual limit in order to escape observation by your people. They would, in such cases, perhaps be visible to a few people who had an extended visual range. They would also register on your radar. Those of our craft most likely to be seen by you are essentially aircraft, not spacecraft. They could operate in space to a limited degree in case of an emergency, but are usually brought to your planet by large carriers. We are currently using different types of these small flyers over your planet. 5 of them carry crews, while 2 are robot devices, which are remote controlled from some other point. Their descriptions are as follows. 1 and 2. These are essentially the same type, except for size. They are crescent-shaped, resembling a disc from which a bite has been taken. You know what I mean? It looks like a pizza pie with one pizza missing, or like Pac-Man. The first is about 45 feet wide by about 18 feet high. The other is only about 1/3 this size and is normally operated by one person, although it can carry one or more passengers if required. Both are reconnaissance craft. They are very ancient types, almost museum pieces as compared to some of our other types. They are particularly well suited to the requirements of the present mission, however, and so are the most used of all the types. They are driven by two jets set in a universal mounting at each joint of the crescent and controlled by changing the direction of the jets, thus eliminating all external surfaces. 3. A cigar-shaped craft, about 100 feet long by 25 feet at its maximum diameter. This type's might be likened to your Navy destroyers and its functions. It is used to protect the smaller flyers when necessary and for rescue operations. It is also used for escort duty, and you are quite likely to see such a craft escorting visiting or tourist craft. It is frequently not considered advisable for various reasons to permit such visitors as full freedom of unsupervised travel over your planet. These craft use both jet and primary drive. 4. A donut-shaped craft about 125 feet outside diameter by 36 feet thick, with a hole about 25 feet in diameter in the center. They are used only when complicated scientific observation of some nature is required. Due to the large amount of test equipment which they carry, they have become known as flying laboratories. They use electromagnetic drive and are not likely to be seen by your people except on comparatively rare occasions. Number 5. A sphere or ball-shaped craft about 100 feet in diameter. It uses electromagnetic drive and is a passenger and cargo transport ship. It might be compared to a marine lighter, which carries cargo from the shore to a ship standing out to sea. It is seldom used in the present operation as there is very little to be transported between our ships and your planet. It is possible you might be able to, you might see these once in a while. 6 and 7. These two are also essentially the same type except for size. Both are ball-shaped, one being about 5 or 6 feet in diameter, while the other one is only about a foot in diameter. They are remote-controlled observation craft, and usually are used where they are usually used where the larger manned ships would attract too much attention. They record both visual sightings and other data and transmit it back to the parent ship. They are regarded as quite expendable, and we sometimes disintegrate them when their specific mission is finished, rather than take the time and trouble to return them for reuse. The green fireballs seen in your skies cannot properly be listed among the others. They are more comparable to your guided missiles than to aircraft of any sort. Only these have a peaceable mission. They are composed chiefly of a colloidal isotope of copper and are used to mop up the excessive radioactivity resulting from your A-bombs. The jet drive used by us consists of a small, pear-shaped reactor into which a very small stream of fluid is injected. This is disintegrated within the chamber by a small electronic ray. The resulting expansion rushing out of the exhaust port of the reactors produces the desired thrust. Any material which can be reduced to a liquid or powder may be used as fuel. It's the flux capacitor, Marty! Water or air are the most frequently used fuels over an inhabited planet, since their reactions produces very short-lived radioactive end products, and thus does not cause any permanent atmospheric contamination. The electromagnetic drive obtains its power by cutting the natural lines of force of a planet. The action is much the same as that of your electrical generators. The craft are oriented on the magnetic meridians in such a manner that small electron beams will drive them. They can cross the meridians or travel at an angle to them in a manner similar to that used by your sailboats when tacking into the wind. This form of drive can obviously be used only over some planetary body, but this body does not necessarily have to be on your vibration level. Primary drive is the only true space drive, aside from teleportation. It consists of mechanism, which will place the craft into synchronous frequency with the primary energy flows which permeate all the universe, but slightly out of phase with them. The speed is theoretically unlimited with the speed of sound. In actual practice, the maximum speed when using primary drive depends largely upon the skill of the operator in controlling the craft and upon the degree of phase angle which can be applied, and that depends on the amount of shading power which the craft can supply. In addition to these methods of driving them, all craft are equipped with mechanism which will enable them to hover motionless when desired. A cone-shaped repulsion field is created above the ship, which diverts the flow of gravity around it much as an umbrella would divert the fall of rain around its user. These diversion fields are frequently employed while the craft are in motion for the purpose of reducing their effective mass. This reduces the amount of power needed to drive them and also makes them more maneuverable. Both the diversion field and the electromagnetic form of the drive create an ionization of their air above and around them. Under certain atmospheric conditions, this will result in a visible corona discharge. It is quite possible that in many of the reports of fiery inverted cones and flaming balls, the observers were seeing this corona discharge rather than the body of the craft itself. In some of these cases, the actual craft may have been opening slightly above the visual range of the Adamic peoples, and only the corona discharge could be seen by them. Chapter 5, The Space Patrol. Guys, I'm done. I can't go on any further. I am burnt, toast. I don't know how I can keep going. I've done the best I can. I've read for over an hour. That is it. You can't convince me otherwise. That is it. I appreciate it. I will continue that next show maybe if we got time. But I can't go on anymore. I am done. I am peaked. I am out of energy. So that brings us to the end of GUFON tonight. A 3-hour show. A 3-hour show. Yeah, we'll finish it. Well, I didn't read the chat room because obviously I couldn't. But I'm sorry if there was some hate. I said I would read it and I did. I tried my best to finish it, but we're now halfway through and I can't do it this month. I can't go another hour. We'll finish it up another night, maybe tomorrow. Thank you, moderators, super chatters, veterans, and newcomers alike. This has been the presentation of GUFON. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll be back tomorrow. Probably, I am feeling like it is definitely going to be a premiere, not a live show. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, right here on YouTube. Thank you, everybody. I don't know if there's a third phase video, but check it out. If it is, it is. You'll know about it. Thank you, everybody. Hey, have a great weekend. If you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out. Right? Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend.